Hey everyone, this is Zahara Stars with Astrology doing the March 2018 weather forecast. I hope you're all doing awesome. March is going to be another blue moon month. I know we're starting the first of the month off with a full moon in Virgo, and then on the 31st, there's going to be another full moon. And we're also going to have Mercury turn retrograde, but previous to that, Jupiter is going to turn retrograde. So we'll have Mercury and Jupiter retrograde this month. Jupiter's turning retrograde March 8th in Scorpio. It's going to be retrograde until July 10th, and it's going to go direct on July 10th at 21 degrees Scorpio. Mercury is turning retrograde on March 22nd in the sign of Aries. So look at your chart and see which house occupies Aries. On April 15th, on April 15th, it's going to go direct. So it turns retrograde March 22nd, and then direct on April 15th. Now, there's also going to be a new moon in Pisces on the 17th at 6:11 a.m. So definitely look at where that's occurring for you in your chart, because that's where a whole lot of efforts, energy, opportunity, endings, beginnings are going to take place. And that's going to be a focus for you for the next, until the full moon at the end of the month. That's going to occur. Now, on the 1st of March, there's going to be the full moon, but Venus in Pisces is also going to trine Jupiter in Scorpio, which is going to be an awesome day. It's going to feel really good. You're going to be positive. You can attract love and money. It's very romantic, Venus in Pisces, and sensitive, and Jupiter is just abundant and has a ton of faith, and Scorpio's intensity and feeling things deeply, and having strong desires. So the 1st of March is going to be a really lucky, fortunate day for pretty much everyone. You got to look at where Venus and Jupiter are both transiting for you. Venus is in Pisces, Jupiter is in Scorpio. This trine is going to bring some benefits to those houses. And it looks like, love relationships will be positive. If you're looking for love, it's a great day to get out and meet someone. On the 2nd of March, Mercury is going to trine Jupiter in Scorpio. Mercury will be in Pisces. It's going to trine Jupiter in Scorpio. That's going to be a really sentimental, passionate day also, but it's a good day to convey things that might be more complicated. You're probably going to be able to easily flow with what it is that you want to say. It's a good day for communication, and it'll have a lot of optimism around communication that day. So good messages, good conversations, stuff like that. On the 4th, Mercury in Pisces will conjunct Venus. This is always sweet. Mercury in Pisces makes us very creative, very romantic, very sensitive, very sometimes absent-minded, just because Pisces has no limits, no boundaries. So our thinking tends to open, expand, and we can get, dreamy and have fantasies, daydreams, especially when it's conjunct Venus. All about pleasure and love and romance. So it's like the day of the poet. We'll all have a little smoother way of saying things. And you also have to look at where Pisces is in your chart to know kind of more where you will see this taking place. On the 6th, Mercury is going to change signs and move into the sign of Aries, which is going to be a lot more direct, a lot more impulsive conversations, a lot more speaking your mind, a lot more conversations, a lot more willing to think outside the box and to try new things. Aries is all about, pioneering, and taking action. So it's a highly communicative time. At the same time, minutes later, Venus will enter Aries, so we'll have both Mercury and Venus in the sign of Aries on the 6th, which is rather good for love, for communicating, for romance, for taking action in love. If you're out and about and you see somebody that you're attracted to, you're likely to be, to make it known in some way, whether it's, very direct or not so much, but still making it known. We definitely are going to go after what it is we want more fearlessly, have more courage, more courage in love, more courage in communication, more courage in speaking our thoughts and our feelings, maybe bluntly saying them. And so on the 8th, as I said earlier, Jupiter is going to turn retrograde. Look at where Jupiter is transiting in your house, in the sign of Scorpio. You're going to revisit these areas. Same goes for Mercury turning retrograde. And the new moon is going to kick in new energy and activity in that area. You're going to be really busy in that area. The full moon is going to bring to fruition something you've been working on since the last moon. It's going to give you information. It's going to illuminate an area of your life. The full moon that's happening on the 31st is in the sign of Libra. So look at what house holds Libra for more on what to expect, to learn more about in that particular area. So on the 11th, Mercury in Aries is going to square Saturn in Capricorn. So we're going to feel a little more resistance in speaking our mind then. We're going to think things thoroughly. We're going to be more pragmatic in our approach to expressing things. We might withhold having conversations that we're thinking about having because we're double thinking, we're overthinking. And Mars is going to trine Uranus that same day. So this shows a little bit of a conflict between what we want to do and whether or not we want to talk about it, or we want to take some kind of action, but we want to think it through first. So there might be, actually this balance can make you make the right decision, because Mercury square Saturn with Mars trine Uranus. Mars trine Uranus is just about, taking the action, recklessly even, to a certain degree. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. The trine usually shows a good flow of the energy. So it's about trying new things, wanting to try new things, but Mercury square Saturn might limit those things that you want to try new or start new or do new. Any kind of action, you'll be thinking it through on the 11th. On the 13th, Venus in Aries is going to square Saturn. So we're going to be definitely cut off from our diplomacy and our ability to get along with others. You tend to speak your mind more directly, especially while Venus is in Aries. Venus in Aries can be about self, as far as your own selfish desires, your own needs, what you need for you, and square Saturn is all about refinement and all about being picky and lack of diplomacy, because Venus is all about getting along with others and saying the right thing and saying it in a way that other people can appreciate it. And Saturn is just blocking that. So sometimes it's not really the best day to go on a date or to meet new people or to ask for a raise or, something like that, because you won't have the tact. Perhaps you're just not going to care enough to try to paint the picture nicer than it needs to be if it's a difficult conversation, and if those that are in a relationship, this could be a day where you notice everything wrong that's with your partner. Be careful for being really overly particular, because this is a short transit. You don't want to make any rash decisions. Just be mindful of the fact that you're going to be feeling a bit irritable and wanting to just, you're going to find a lot of fault. On the 17th, Mars is going to enter Capricorn, so this is going to be a good energy, action taking place in the building sign and the focus sign of the zodiac. So we're definitely going to be more cautious, pragmatic in our steps, but we're going to be willing to do the work and move forward and stay focused, and that's how we're going to approach things in our lives on that day. All matters that we take energy towards. We're going to be, if you're building something, putting together something, you're going to be focused, you're going to have the energy, you're going to take the time that it takes to do it right. On the 19th, Venus in Aries will conjunct Mercury, and this is awesome for communication because you will have some diplomacy and some tact, but you're going to be willing to say what it is. It's a good sales call day, a good day to take that first step in communication. You'll have some luck in it. You'll have a way of saying it to where it doesn't ruffle too many feathers. And then on the 22nd, Mercury is going to turn retrograde. And this is always, this happens, 4 times a year typically. Mercury is all about communications, technology, reviewing paperwork, local travel, visiting neighbors, things like that. Even exes come back. People want to get back and retouch, in touch with each other. Clients come back from the past that you've worked with. People that you've marketed to can suddenly come back and be ready to move forward. It's all about revisiting and going back to stuff that you've already started. It's about reaping the rewards from the seeds you planted previously. And also giving you a second opportunity to review things to see if there's a better way or a better outcome possible, and if so, to take action during Mercury retrograde. Of course, there's always the regular technological issues that can occur partially, usually during the second phase of Mercury through its retrograde zone. There can be, some entanglements technology-wise, internet falling out, phones not working, just stuff like that. But usually it's Murphy's Law. If it was something, there was a loose cord or a loose wire, it's bound to go loose now. It's also a typical time where websites and other companies are redoing things. So you can find disconnections on websites or, servers not responding or things like that because everybody seems to be revisiting, refixing, and revamping stuff. So overall, it's about revisiting, and a lot of things can come back from the past. Those of you that are hoping to hear from somebody that you haven't heard from in a while, it's likely to come during this time period. And this involves any aspect of your life, a friend from the past, a family member you got in a fight with, a ex-lover, to pretty much anything. It's not a guarantee that they're all going to come back, but it's one of the most likeliest times for that to occur. On the 23rd, Venus in Aries is going to square Pluto in Capricorn, and this is an intense all-or-nothing type of day where if you're involved in a love relationship, you might make high demands of your partner. If you're unhappy in any portion of your relationship, you're likely to let them know, let them have it. If you are unsatisfied in an area and you need more of something, you're likely to let that be known as well. You can watch out for power struggles though, because you can be quite ornery, especially with Venus in Aries and square Pluto in Capricorn, stubborn, and needing to have your way. But in some cases, that's very helpful energy, especially if you've been too passive, you've been tolerating things that you shouldn't. This is a good energy to help you break free of that, to speak your mind, to let it be known, to make changes, to promote change. Pluto's about transformation. However, just be careful not to, get too crazy on this day and make some rash decisions again, because it is a shorter transit and you may change your mind after it's over. So on the 23rd, just think things through a bit. On the 28th, Venus will conjunct Uranus in Aries, and this is where we're just going to try all kinds of new stuff. We're going to want to try something new. Those of you in a relationship might suddenly want to go out with friends and get some separation or stir up some drama or try something new. I don't know. This could be anything. When Venus is with Uranus, this is about our likes, our pleasures, the things that are fun, our love relationships, our girlfriends, so we can act a little different, more than likely. And maybe you want to just, try something new, break free for a day or two, or, a couple of days, a few days. But it's definitely impulsive energy of wanting to be independent, to have some space sometimes, to want to break free, to try something new. It's generally very exciting. It doesn't have to be the end of all, be all, but just be careful not to be too outrageous if you're in a relationship. If you're not, you can suddenly meet somebody that just sparks your interest. It's just an overall unexpected day. On the 30th, Venus moves into Taurus, softening things out, slowing things down, making us more pragmatic, but also appreciative of pleasure and sensual and sensuality. It's a very consistent sign. It's a very, passionate, all about the things that bring us pleasure, money, material things, love, romance, sensuality, all that stuff. So on the 30th, during the next full moon, Venus will also move into Taurus. It's going to be a very loving, romantic, sensual day. And that's how we're pretty much ending the month of March 2018. It sounds pretty good, to be honest. It's really looking good. There's definitely going to be some new action that come about from the new moon in Pisces, and on the 17th and the full moon on the 31st in Libra when Venus moves into Taurus. There's some really nice, loving, romantic days. There's a lot going on with Pisces and Venus. Venus is very active in the month of March, so it's a great month for love relationships, really. And then we have a couple of retrogrades with Mercury and Jupiter. And then we're going to have this year all the retrogrades kicking in, including Venus and Mars, which is really going to amp things up for soulmates and twin flames coming together and all this stuff, because this year is a number 2 year numerologically wise, which is all about partnerships, relationships, twin flames, but also all kinds of relationships. So this is about going to wrap it up. I hope you found this helpful. If you found me off of YouTube, please give this a thumbs up. Also subscribe to get my forecast for all the zodiac signs shortly to follow for March, to look at your own specific sign. You can also visit my site at www.lumastrology.blogspot.com for all the astrology aspects and information there to look up aspects of your own and whatnot. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me, and please do check back for the rest of the forecast, and then I'll see you again in April.